Hey everyone, and welcome to our Q&A presented by Just Love. I'm your host Paula Jane, and I'm talking to Judy Carroll. Judy is an internationally known author. Her books include The Zeta Message, Human by Day, Zeta by Night, and her most recent book, Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History. Welcome, Judy.
Hi Paula, hi everyone.
Today I wanted to ask you about how important this planetary shift really is. So I went to your book, Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, and straight away found something very apt, captivating and beautiful. It's a prophecy given by the Hopi elders on June the 8th, 2000.
Yes, Paula, this is on page 166 of my book, and it begins, "You have been telling people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour. And there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth. Create your community, be good to each other, and do not look outside yourself for your leader." He then clasped his hands together, smiled, and said, "This could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there will be those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. Know the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, see who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey come to a halt. The time of the one wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for." And I'll add a link to this at the end of our session. I'd just like to add here that we are always in the perfect place at the perfect time, and if we're not, then we'll be shifted to where we need to be. This happened to me back in the 1980s when my husband and I were living out in the country on an acreage property in a nice new house we just had built. We were in the process of putting a pool in. We had horses, dogs, cat, everything we dreamed of, and loving it. Then my off-planet teacher turned up and announced that I needed to move back to the city because there was work to do and I'd spent enough time hiding myself away. This was when all the gloom and doom prophecies were being put out and everyone else was fleeing towns and moving to acreage properties to become self-sufficient. But not for us. I was sent right back into the line of fire. It took 3 years to happen, but coincidence after coincidence turned up, getting us back into town. It took a bit of getting used to, but everything fell into place at the perfect time and place, just as it was meant to.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about this because in our last Just Love chat space, we emphasised the importance of knowing that we are absolutely in the right place, doing the exact right thing for our soul's evolution and the evolution of our beautiful planet. This shift is imminent and this message is urgent. This shift is a birthing process, and as Judy has explained many times, the birthing process is not always easy. In fact, it can be quite uncomfortable. Just ask the butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon and then needing to take the time to strengthen its wings before it can fly. But remember, this struggle is necessary for the transformation of the earthbound caterpillar into the beautiful winged creature that is the butterfly. So having said that, and being fully aware that people are experiencing a birthing, strengthening, and emergence process of sorts, it is again with much love, compassion, and empathy that we talk about how you very well may be lending your energy to the collective to assist this process to happen. Keeping in mind that everything we do, all of us, is for the collective consciousness of humanity, and also keeping in mind that we come from oneness. Our soul spans many dimensions and has many connections.
Yes, for sure. And this is what working through God's will as opposed to free will is all about. This is a really important thing that all the star seeds are here to teach. Free will is okay when it operates hand in hand with God's will, but all too often down here on earth it's more about self rather than others. It's all about me, me, me. It's my right to do this, and I'll trample over everyone around me to exercise my rights. We see this selfish, self-oriented free will behaviour going on all the time. In higher planetary cultures that operate through God's will, everything is done for the good of all. It's not about self, but rather everybody. Because at this higher level, everyone understands that what we do for the community benefits us anyway. So everyone is a winner. This is why I say how important it is for all the star people who volunteered to be on Earth at this crucial time to walk our talk. Coming as we do from planetary cultures where God's will is applied as the norm, we need to be living, breathing demonstrations of this in action.
So we're all here for a reason. We all have a purpose. And that purpose is to lead the way and set a good example. And as Judy mentioned in our last chat space, and says again now, we need to walk our talk. That's how we lend our energy to Mission Earth. Judy has also written about star children in her latest book, Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth. And here is a little of what she says, which pertains to exactly what we've been talking about.
Thanks, Paula. The star children are also known as indigo, rainbow and crystal children, and probably other labels as well, because earthlings like to divide everything up into separate little boxes with labels on them. In reality, they're all the same in that they belong to more recent generations of genetically upgraded children and young adults who've been born on Earth over the past few decades. The children are part of the ongoing assisted ascension program being carried out on Earth to help both people and planet move up to the next level of the human ladder and away from the influence of the planetary controllers.
Yeah, this is how the bigger picture is unfolding. We can see this with our physical eyes. We can feel our consciousness expanding, and we've been told that we're moving from a 3D-oriented consciousness that is all about separation, competition, and conflict to a 5D consciousness that is all about unconditional love, joy, harmony, cooperation, peace, and connection in oneness. What Judy also points out in her book, and this is really important to understand and needs to be highlighted, is this.
Yes, needless to say, this is the last thing that the controllers want, a peaceful, loving, connected and therefore empowered humanity. Their whole agenda is to keep us divided, war-torn and weak, so of course they're interfering with the empowerment process. The star children are really being targeted. They're very sensitive physically and so are easily manipulated to play right into the controllers' agenda. What is extremely destructive is how these young people are being exposed to negativity and violence in the way of music and video games, and also through genetically modified food with artificial colours and other additives, which impacts upon their energies to throw them out of harmony and balance. It's no coincidence that in the 1960s, when young people were just beginning to really wake up to the control of religion and politics, and the true horror and futility of war as was played out in Vietnam, that drugs such as marijuana and LSD suddenly came on the scene to disrupt and injure their psyches in a different way. Of course, the planetary controllers were and still are firmly behind this, which is why the drug problem can't be dealt with properly. These star children's energy systems vibrate at a higher frequency, making them more sensitive and vulnerable to the harsh and heavy energy on this planet. Life on a level 1 planet like Earth is not easy to cope with. As a starseed, I speak from personal experience.
So having said that, we need to come back to the beautiful prophecy from the Hopi elders telling us that this is the hour. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So for all of the star children and anyone who is listening to this, be assured that you are here to be a part, and a very important part of the ascension process. You do have a purpose, you are meant to be here, and everything is playing out perfectly, despite all of the controllers' efforts. It's not always easy to see this, but remember the analogy that Judy gives, that it's a birthing process, and giving birth is not easy. You are a part of this shift that is playing out on Earth right now. Just by being here, you are assisting. So when you look at your life and you see all of the stress, anxiety, depression, and nonsense that you're experiencing, try to see through the nonsense. See through it, even when you are in it, because you have to be in it. You have to be in it for it to be able to transmute. Remember to choose a higher timeline. You can do that. You have the ability to choose that which is coming from love. You can choose to avoid the fear aspect. Your aim is to hold higher states of consciousness within your body, so be mindful of connecting with these higher states of consciousness. You connect with these higher states when you wake up and realize that you're coming from fear. There's nothing wrong with being in fear. It's what we've been programmed to do. But it's now time to choose a higher timeline, a higher consciousness. Every time we notice that we're coming from fear, we have a choice to step out of it and align to a higher timeline and the higher consciousness that is based in love. Judy, you shared in your book how you navigated this journey on Earth, and I think it would be helpful here to share these wise words.
Yeah, thanks, Paula. The off-planet people being consciously born here in Earth human form, as I was, are coming as part of the mission to assist Earth plane humanity past the stagnant pool created by the reptilian hijacking of the planet. In the past, only a few of us were coming here, but now we're arriving in thousands. We are not here to be put up on pedestals, to create cults, or to be worshipped as gods or saviours. We are not here to incite war against the establishment. That is not our way. The genuine off-planet people come in quietly through the back door, walking our talk and doing our best to set an example for others, an example of peace, tolerance, respect for the environment, and unconditional love. This is what the planetary shift to fifth world 5D consciousness is all about. To quote from the Sasquatch Elder, Kamooh, many of whose messages I've included in my Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth book. In the cosmic order protected by the Star Council, interspecies peaceful spiritual communications and relations are encouraged as a way to accelerate the karmic healing and the dharmic spiritual evolution. Species and souls with higher levels of consciousness and spiritual wisdom are thus asked to teach the younger species and souls and supervise their evolutionary process through space, time and eons.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. But it's the fear that holds us back, isn't it? Well, you talk about this in your book.
Definitely, and getting past the fear barrier is all about stepping out of your comfort zone. Sometimes it feels like you're wading through mud. But when you reach the clear crystal waters of love, self-empowerment and connection, a whole new and magical world will open up for you. Every negative experience you have with others are lessons for your spiritual growth. Such experiences are often created out of lack of knowledge, lack of understanding or misinformation.
Yes, and the thing is, there's no expansion in your comfort zone, and no real joy or peace, and no inspiration or enthusiasm. You have to step outside to find these things, and the stepping out may very well be uncomfortable. In this time of expansion, your truth will be front and center. You need to speak your truth in order to stay true to yourself, and doing this will require you to step out of your comfort zone. You're not meant to stay there. You are expanding, so you cannot stay there. When you truly know and understand this, it will be easier to leave. You are meant to grow. You are on your soul's journey of expansion, enlightenment, and growth, so you cannot stay stagnant in your cozy little comfort zone. Be still and know this. Listen to your intuition. Staying in your comfort zone where you do not meet and face your fears is not living. It is staying safe and stagnant, and you are bigger and braver than that.
If humanity could only come to realise that the fear net that has been cast over humanity by the reptilian controllers is of a lower vibrational frequency, but you have the power to walk straight through it unscathed by trusting in yourself and your own inner voice. You need to understand clearly that your own energy is much higher frequency and is unlimited. Stop judging yourself and allow for bumps in the road. They are there to slow you down, to enable you to release the pain and fear, and to give you the time and space to find out who you really are.
And who you really are, is divine energy. A lot of this doesn't make sense to us because we can't see it. So let's just go back to our body and the fact that our physical body is really just energy. Energy is designed to flow and change. Everything is energy, so you, as an energy being, are always changing and expanding. Your body manifests this in 3 different ways. Firstly, it's a receptor. You are constantly receiving information from everyone and everything around you, both consciously and unconsciously. Secondly, you are a transmitter. So if you are coming from fear, others will pick up on it and feel that fear. Just as when you are coming from love, others will feel that love. Your body is transmitting that message to the energy you're emitting. Thirdly, you are a transmuter. You have the ability to transmute energy. Simple as that. You can convert fear into love, anger to peace, and so on. So stay in your body, stay in the moment, and breathe through it. Accept it, allow it, feel it, and breathe. Energy is designed to move, not be controlled. Move to quiet, softness, settle in, and trust. Trust what is happening in the most uncomfortable moments. This is no longer about reading and learning. This is about being.
Out of respect and love for yourself, ask your spiritual family for assistance and guidance when needed. This will help you to understand that the love energy is a connection to self, to all, and to oneness. This is why we call it Source. Once you learn to tap into Source, your vision will be clear, your heart will be filled with love, and your mind will be free to create endless possibilities.
And something else that you can do to help in these trying times is to always be grateful. Here's a gentle reminder from Dr. Wayne Dyer. Before you go to sleep at night, be grateful, because when you focus on what you're not doing right, that's what you will be marinating in and creating more of. So be mindful, truly mindful, and count your blessings so that you're giving yourself a positive start to the next day. And this can apply at any time through the day when you catch yourself wanting things to be different. So just to reiterate on what we've said before, but I know we all need a reminder, try to do your very best to tune into positivity rather than negativity. This is so important right now. Please bear this in mind when you're surfing the net. We do create our reality, so stay focused on positivity is critical. Just to remind you, Judy's books are available through Amazon and Kindle, or you can go directly through Judy's website, which is included in the link below. And if you like this video, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe to this channel. Again, thanks Judy, and we look forward to our next Q&A session. Bye for now.